folks, Dave here at Thunder Mesa Studio with another episode of Thunder Mesa Reimagined, the rebuilding and redesign of my On30 Thunder Mesa Mining Company layout. Now, if you haven't tuned in recently, you may not be aware that I've been in the process of moving my entire studio, including the Thunder Mesa layout, to a new location. For over 7 years, the layout has been located at my art studio in the old historic mining town of Jerome, Arizona. But recent changes at the old Jerome Art Center forced me to make the difficult decision to move out, to move everything about 15 minutes down the road here to Cottonwood, Arizona. I don't want to bore you with all the gory details, but suffice to say that the new management team there has a rather unrealistic idea of what the rent should be in a 100-year-old building that is literally falling apart from lack of regular maintenance. Let's just say that I had the feeling that a move like this might be coming, and that was a big motivation to start on reimagining and rebuilding the layout in the first place, both to fix some old problems and to make the whole thing much more portable. I've been documenting the move over the past month or so in my Workbench Wednesday series, and I'll put a link to those videos so you can check them out. But today I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about how this move affects the ongoing rebuild of the Thunder Mesa layout. I was lucky to find this new location with roughly the same square footage as my old Jerome studio. And as a bonus, it's only about 5 minutes away from my house, so it's very convenient. And as you can see, I already have my workspace all set up. And I've been spending the past week or so getting the layout room ready for the Thunder Mesa layout and the other layouts. Yes, there are 2 separate rooms. Right behind this door is where the Thunder Mesa Mining Company will soon be located. But there's been a lot of work to do in the layout room since it was basically like a poorly finished garage. And all that work has to be done before I can start moving the model railroads in. In the last Workbench Wednesday video, I showed how we began prepping the space and how we hung vinyl flooring on the walls as a basis for the new backdrop. Now I want to take you back to the beginning of this week to show just what's involved in making a space like this ready for model trains. In a nutshell, lots of cleaning, lots of painting, lots of hard work. Okay, it's a big day today for our transformation of this space into a proper layout room, because today I'm going to be adding a coat of Kills 2 primer to just about everything you see here. The walls, the vinyl backdrop we put up, and the ceiling. Yeah, got a lot to do, so better get started. Now this Kills primer should be ideal for this job. This is all-purpose primer, and we've got multiple different types of surfaces that we want to cover. We've got drywall, and we've got vinyl, we've got stains we want to cover up, and marks on the wall. And this stuff is great for that. Just going to apply it with a roller. And the only question is, how many coats is it going to take to cover all the sins on these walls? But when we're done, we should have a much brighter, cleaner space to work with. Okay, my plan is just to start at this end and work my way all the way around. This is going to take 2, maybe 3 coats to really cover. But the nice thing about this Kills is that it dries pretty fast. So by the time I'm done with the first coat on this side, the other side's already dry and ready for a second coat. So I can just go right around and start again. Right now I'm just cutting in along the roof or the ceiling here. Obviously I'm not too worried about paint dripping on the floor because my plan is to paint the floor last. Yep, it needs a coat of paint too. Well, I ended up doing 3 coats altogether, and I couldn't be happier with the result. I have this nice, bright, white, flat surface to work with now. So the next thing is I need to get a coat on the ceiling and on the far wall over there, and then this part of the project will be done. I know professional painters out there are probably saying, hey, you should have done the ceiling first, and you're probably right, but in this particular case, it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It doesn't really matter, so ceiling next. Okay, well now I need to take everything that's over on this side of the room and move it to the other side of the room, or at least out from the walls, so I can finish painting the ceiling and that wall over there, except for the pegboard and the bulletin board. Those are staying. Just wrapping this up with a final coat, and then after that it'll be time to do the floor. Okay, well, I've spent the last couple hours cleaning and prepping the floor for painting. Right now I'm going over it with a wet mop. Make sure there's no little loose particles. You know, for painting a concrete floor like this, you want to make sure it's as clean as possible. Ideally, you want to start with newly laid concrete, but we are not in that situation. I'll also eventually probably be putting some area rugs down in here to save my feet and my knees on these concrete floors. I'm just going around and masking all the baseboards so that we don't get paint up on them. Gotta tell you, I'm kind of tired of crawling around on my knees in here. I'll be glad when this part's done. So this is the paint I'm using. Rust-Oleum Concrete and Garage Floor Paint and Primer in one. It says it'll do it in one coat. We'll see. Again, I'm not really after a perfect result, just one that's good enough. No, I'm not going to paint the entire floor with this slow brush. This is just for cutting in along the edge here. Oh, it does cover good. Now I can switch to the roller. It should actually go pretty fast. After a couple of hours, this is dry enough to walk on. So I think it's safe to remove the masking tape now and start moving everything back over to this side so I can finish painting the other side. Now with everything primed and painted and cleaned, let's give you a little 360 view of the space. As we are just about ready to start moving some model railroads into here. What an amazing difference a little bit of paint makes, huh? This is downright civilized in here now. And since this is Thunder Mesa Reimagined, it's fitting that the first piece we move in here is the new canyon section for the Thunder Mesa Mining Company layout. This is where it's going to live now. If you've been following along with the move, you probably already know that one of the big sacrifices I'm making moving here from the Jerome studio is the backdrop. The backdrop up in Jerome, most of it is painted directly on the wall, so I can't really take it with me realistically. So I'm going to have to paint a whole new backdrop here. Of course, the new backdrop is going to end up looking an awful lot like the old backdrop, except for now we've got these nice coved corners, which should really improve the look of things, and that's thanks to the vinyl flooring I used on the wall here. And as a bonus, we'll get a couple of new episodes on backdrop painting, which I think is one of the most requested topics on this channel, so that's something to look forward to. I also want to point out that I've got about 5 extra feet down on this end, along this axis, along the side wall there, and another 5 feet between the roll-up door and the side wall for expansion. So, you know, there might be some changes coming to the Thunder Mesa plan. Just put our little planning model up here. I can start to visualize. And I guess I should also talk about this thing again. This is an air conditioner. These are normally mounted in a window. The previous tenants here chose to mount it in the wall. And I thought I would only need to explain this once or twice in videos, but it seems like every time it's visible in the video, someone in the comments who hadn't seen the other videos, that's understandable, will point out that that's a terrible place for an air conditioner. It's going to exhaust hot air here into the layout room. And I just want to let you know that I'm aware of those facts. I didn't design this. I didn't put it here. I wouldn't have put it here. I haven't needed to use it at all. I've been here during kind of the hottest part of the summer moving in here and have not needed this. The whole unit here has central cooling via swamp cooler, and it works great. Haven't needed this. Not sure why they put it here. It's just one of those things that, you know, have to deal with. Can't do anything about it, so I just have to work around it. So that's the explanation for the air conditioner in the wall, at least until the next video. Oh, I should also mention that track level on the Thunder Mesa layout is actually right about here. So it's above the air conditioner. This is actually going to be hidden behind the next piece of benchwork. So after that, people probably won't point it out anymore. At least I hope not. Another project on the horizon will be upgrading the lighting that's in here. These fluorescent tubes are fine for work lights, but they don't really cut it for the kind of show lighting that I want for the Thunder Mesa layout and for the other projects that are going to be in here. Fortunately, I think I'll be able to work on that with the layouts in here without too much difficulty. Remember, everything's on wheels and I can roll it around. Guess I can start putting up some decor in here too. My good old Rio Grande hat rack. Gotta have a place to hang my cowboy hats. This is something with a little bit of sentimental value. This is the sign that used to be in the courtyard outside my Jerome studio, pointing people in the right direction. It's got some very realistic weathering on it now. Then I've got this mirror so I can look at myself before I start filming the videos, make myself look pretty. Quite clearly, it doesn't work. Starting to feel a little bit more like home now. Now, my original, admittedly rather optimistic plan was to have the entire backdrop painted and finished before I started to move the layouts in here. As it turns out, that's not going to be very realistic. The original backdrop, the old backdrop, took me about 2 weeks to paint, and as of this recording, I have a little bit less than 2 weeks to get everything else out of the old Jerome studio. So the next steps are going to be moving those big chunks of layout down in here, the big Thunder section, the original section of the Thunder Mesa layout, and that's actually going to go right here, right in front of me. Then we've got the 2 5-foot long sections of the Goldfield and Calico. Those are going to end up over there in front of that roll-up door. And then there's the Bandit Canyon layout and a few other odds and ends that need to be moved down here. But all of that's going to have to wait. We need to wrangle up some help. We're going to rent a truck and probably end up moving all that stuff this coming weekend. So look for that in probably the next video or the one after that, coming soon anyway, as we try to figure out the logistics of all of this. In the meantime, I want to thank you all so much for watching today and following along with the exploits of Thunder Mesa Reimagined and everything that's going on here at the new Thunder Mesa studio. If it's your first time here, I hope you'll like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so YouTube will let you know when the next video is coming from Thunder Mesa Studio. Remember, you can also follow us over on Instagram at thunder.mesa and check out the resources available on the Thunder Mesa Studio website at thundermesa.studio. As always, a huge shout out and thank you to our Patreon members who help to make these videos possible. Until next time, keep moving forward, my friends. Adios for now.